One little 1-inch pellet is equivalent to a ton of coal or 100 barrels of oil.
The U.S. cannot currently produce its own nuclear fuel in any quantity beyond R&D quantities.
Are you serious? So where do we get it from?
So there's 5 steps in making fuel. You have to mine it out of the ground. You then turn it into a gas for enrichment. You then enrich it, which is it's essentially a refining process. So enrichment is separating the element of uranium into its couple different types based on its isotope, which is how many neutrons it has. So it's really a refining separation process. So a lot of people hear enrichment and they think, okay, this sounds dangerous, or sounds like there's going to be a lot of radiation, or there's going to be some sort of dangerous chemical reactions. It's actually just separation. There was a type of fuel that was developed decades ago and tested for a really long time. So it's been proven to be really robust. But you take a tiny piece of uranium and you coat it with ceramic. And that ceramic means that even in the worst case scenario, where your reactor somehow disintegrates, these little pellets are self-contained, so they can't even release any radioactive gas. So it's another layer of safety on top. So a bunch of the advanced reactor types are doing that. To really have domestic capability, you need all the steps. And so the step that's missing right now is enrichment. If you rewind to the history of this, in the 50s, the US built a bunch of enrichment. This was Cold War era. We were the world leader in enrichment. We had these plants spread out throughout the country that used an old technique that was expensive. It required a lot of energy to do it, but we had the most capacity, and we built up a lot of enriched uranium that we stockpiled. And those stockpiles, we knew they would last a really long time, decades and decades. And so with the fall of the Berlin Wall, we said, let's start trading with our former enemies. We're allies now. We can work together. Free trade's good for the world. And we can get this product elsewhere. And so over the next couple of decades, we moved towards free trade and imports and decommissioned those old facilities, assuming that that would be a fine thing to rely on with a bunch of different partners. But now we're in a position where we need to grow nuclear energy. And if you look at how much enrichment the U.S. is going to need, right now we produce less than a third of what we need. The administration a couple of weeks ago said we are going to quadruple our nuclear energy by 2050.
When you're talking about a poppy seed, that's like nothing. How much energy does that produce?
A pellet, roughly an inch tall, of conventional enriched uranium. That one pellet, which roughly like Coke can dimensions, just shrunk down to 1 inch tall, would contain as much energy as a ton of coal or 100 barrels of oil.
One little 1-inch pellet is equivalent to a ton of coal or 100 barrels of oil.
Yep.